So let's go to the second situation of lesson 10. First of all, just listen, all right? Actually, listen and repeat. Options. Let's get smoothies. Repeat, smoothie. Smoothies. Try to imitate as closely as you can my pronunciation, okay? So repeat, smoothies. What kind? They've got about a dozen flavors. Repeat. Now repeat, dozen. Be careful not to say dozen or something like that. Dozen, dozen. So it's right? Dozen. Would you like to order? One more time. Would you like to order? Sure. Have you got kiwi smoothies? Sorry, we haven't got kiwi. But they've got peach, pineapple, coconut, mango. Ooh, mango, that's for me. Would you care for a smoothie too, sir? Yes, please. I'll have a vanilla lime. Okay, so let's explore this situation a little. First of all, remember that the man in the situation is a blind, the boy in the situation is a blind boy, right? So a blind person is a person who cannot see. That's why the boy in our situation is using a cane. Cane is the thing the stick, let's put it this way. The stick he's using to help him walk. Another way, a more, let's say, fancy way of saying blind would be visually impaired, right? Well, so repeat, let's get smoothies. Well, you don't need to repeat because we have, but every time I say something, if you repeat it, it's a nice exercise. So remember, be careful, right? Because we do have smoothies here in Brazil. They're not so common, at least called smoothies. But for example, if you go to Tropical Bananas, you can order what here in Brazil we call smoothie, right? And I have the impression that we restrict what is a smoothie here in Brazil. So smoothie is this drink made with a lot of ice, right? Very, very cold, and it's a thick drink because you use a lot of fruit. But remember, in the United States, that's a smoothie. Of course, it's a smoothie you can make with water, but you can make other kinds of smoothies, and here in Brazil, we would call vitamin, So, vitamina de banana. We would try to translate as banana vitamin, but be careful, right? In English, we don't use that, right? Banana vitamin, they would understand vitamins that we can find in banana, like vitamin C, B, A. I don't know what kind of vitamins we can find in banana. So if you use banana in milk to make a drink, we call a banana smoothie, all right? But it's a smoothie with milk and not with water, all right? Of course, there are other ways of making smoothies. For example, I think the one here in our situation must be very good because they use yogurt, ice cream, and fruit. So it must be something very nice, right? All right, so continuing, what kind? They've got about a dozen flavors, of course. Dozen is 12. I have a small trivia to give you. In English, there is this expression called baker's dozen. Baker's dozen, and it's interesting because a baker is a guy who has the profession of making bread, right? Baker. So bakery, for example, is the place where you go to buy bread, right? So a baker's dozen is actually 13, 13, that's a baker's dozen. And we do have a similar expression in Portuguese. I think in Portuguese I even like better than in English. That is uma dúzia de frade. Uma dúzia de frade in Portuguese means 13 as well, right? And there are two nice stories behind those two expressions. If I'm not wrong, the theory to explain Baker's dozen 13, why, right? Because bakers don't know how to count. Apparently, no. There is a very interesting theory that in London, if I'm not wrong, there would be some fiscalization, checking if bakers are not selling bread that would be too little, right? So they would weigh, they would see how much the bread weighs, and if the baker gave less than he was supposed to give, then he would have a very hard punishment, a very serious punishment. So just to be on the safe side, bakers, if you went to a bakery and you wanted to buy 12 rolls, let's put it this way, let's imagine you are buying rolls, they would give you 13 just to make sure they're not giving you less, and then they don't run the risk of a severe punishment. In Portuguese, dúzia de frades is also interesting. So you would have those monasteries, right, where people would go and buy things from the monks there, right? Monks, of course, are those people who live in a monastery. And because, the brothers there living in the monastery usually knew people were poor, and they were very kind. When people, let's imagine, went there to buy a dozen eggs, they would sometimes give 1 extra egg for free, right? So that's why in Portuguese we have dúzia de frade, right? Well, but let's go back to our situation, all right? Okay. Would you like to order? Remember, guys, when you go to a restaurant, you don't ask, you order, right? This is very important. Never say, I will ask a pizza. You will order a pizza. And then they say, the blind boy says, sure, have you got? Be careful, right? Because here we are using have as an auxiliary. So it's not do you have. Have is in the beginning of the sentence to make the question. But it's an expression. It's very simple, very direct, right? Have you got is the same thing as do you have, all right? So have you got kiwi smoothies? Do you have kiwi smoothies? All right. Sorry, we haven't. Well, if I ask you a question with have, you answer with have. Have you got a car? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Has Julia got a lot of things to do today? Yes, she has. No, she hasn't. Sorry, we haven't got kiwi. All right. But they've got peach. We can see a picture of a peach there. Pineapple, coconut, mango. All the pictures are there. Ooh, mango, that's for me. Would you care for, okay, this is a very nice expression. When you ask a person a question with would you care, it's like would you like, but it sounds very formal, very professional, right? So you go to a bar, for example, probably the bartender, the guy who serves the drinks at the bar, will look at you and say, would you care for a cocktail? Would you care for some drink? Would you care for a beer? Would you care for a sandwich, right? Would you care for smoothies too, sir? And then the man answers, yes, please, I'll have a vanilla lime. Remember, it's pretty important, lemon and lime in English are different, right? Lime are those that we use in Brazil to make a caipirinha, right? Lemon is the kind of yellow one that is pretty common in the United States. When you see like girls selling lemonades in front of their house, you always see they use lemon to make the lemonade, which makes a lot of sense.